and welcome to HCS Connects. I'm Kelly Gorel. Today we've got the great opportunity to meet with our coordinator of athletics and driver's education, Beth Mair. So welcome to HCS Connects.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm very excited that you're here with us. You know, we a lot of times with HCS Connects talk about the instructional aspect, but there's so many opportunities beyond instruction for our students, and that's athletics as well as driver's education, and you get to oversee both of those pieces.
Can't beat the things that I oversee. I love both of them.
I know you love your job. You especially love football and all things athletics.
Yes.
So how long have you been with Hampton City Schools in this capacity?
About 13, 14 years.
So overseeing the athletics and driver's education. And we're back in person this year, and
Yes.
we had athletics last year, and we're still having athletics this year.
Correct.
But there's some changes, you know, because we're still living in a world of COVID. So tell us a little bit about what those changes are for our athletics departments.
Well, there's a wide variety of things, but one thing is for the attendance, the basketball and wrestling attendance, we're limiting 2 people per player, per cheerleader, per coach, so that we can keep the numbers down in the stands. Everyone in the stands will be wearing masks. We have a lot of different variety of ways to communicate that to the parents and things like that. But we just started doing the two fans per player after the first year. Another thing that we do is every day the parents do a daily screening of their athlete, and if everything is good, they come into practice, they get their temperature checked and asked if they have any symptoms at all. One huge thing that I did want to mention while I was here was that, you know, HCS has a 10-day waiting period or a quarantine, and that applies, of course, to our athletes. However, once our athletes come out of that quarantine, they cannot go strictly or right into playing. They have to do what's called a return to play.
Okay.
And that usually takes 3 to 5 days. Our athletic trainers at the schools take them through a regimen, make sure that their heart and their lungs are okay, and they start with something low and they work their way up. And usually by day 5, that student can come back into activity. That's something that a lot of people aren't aware of, and it's something that I really wanted to mention.
Well, and I'm glad you did, because that's something I was not aware of as a parent. And what I will say, and you know, we've been dealing with COVID for 2 years, so all of us personally have had experiences of people we know or with our own family and things like that. And that was something that I learned about from my own child's pediatrician, you know, a couple months ago, as far as these are the steps, because a lot of it, and they said with the Omicron variant especially, that with our young children, that they may have issues 3-4 weeks down the road in regards to like their hearts. So that's great that we're putting safety measures in place so they can work with our athletic trainers before they just step right back out.
Correct.
Now, and you said, you know, you wanted to also point out the attendance piece. We've had safety and health mitigation strategies in place since last year, because I know we were able to start back up in the spring and we had our fall sports. The attendance piece wasn't as big of a concern in our fall sports because they were outdoors and we had more space.
Yes.
So, I mean, I guess what I'm getting from that with the wrestling and the basketball, we're inside. There's not as much space, and so we've had to limit that attendance for winter sports, unlike we did for like the field hockey or the football in the fall, because we were outdoors and could spread out and had more room.
Absolutely. We started with basketball and wrestling where we did not have that limitation, and we quickly saw that there was just too many
everybody
people.
wanted to come watch.
Yes. Too many
excited.
people, and we could have 400 to 500 people. And so we just said, you know, we can't do this. We're going to have to limit. And everyone, the community is being great about it. They understand, coaches and the players understand, and it's going off without a hitch.
Well, excellent. Well, and like you said, we're constantly changing and adapting as needed.
Yes.
We didn't have that piece into our mitigation strategies when winter sports started, because we just didn't think that many individuals would come out. But I mean, a lot of things are opening back out and people want to come out and support. So, but I do know that you said that most of them, they're trying to make sure that, you know, the community or extra family members or friends can still watch games via Facebook Live, correct?
That is correct. Our athletic directors have been tasked to have Facebook Live for our basketball games and our wrestling matches. Indoor track's a little bit more tricky. There's no way we can really do that.
I can see that.
Yeah, but they are tasked to do that, and it's a great opportunity. I do the same thing with my daughter. She's traveling everywhere, and I cannot go all the time. So Facebook Live is perfect. And if anyone wants to know where they can hook into their Facebook Live, they can call their athletic director or simply go on their Facebook, and they should have a link.
And really, you know, there are some silver linings that we've learned how to adapt that we may continue, who knows, past, you know, into next year. And I'm a parent as well. I've got 2 kids that are in sports. And, you know, last year when things were still just beginning in regard, not school sports, and you could only limit like 1 parent, you know, my husband started doing Facebook Live. So one of us would sit home and get to watch. Now that we're divided amongst 2 kids, because a lot of times you're dividing and conquering to be at different things, we're like, well, jump back on Facebook so I can watch that on my phone while I'm at this event. So.
And another great thing is that it's taped.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, my daughter watched her game last night that happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they like to go back. The kids like to go back and now watch and critique themselves and see what they did right and wrong.
Exactly. It's easy.
Well, and not even just, you know, I know health safety mitigation strategies, but we've got some exciting news in Hampton in regards to middle school sports.
Yes,
so tell us about that.
Yes, this is my 38th year teaching and being an administrator. And as far as I know, I cannot remember the last time Hampton City Schools had middle school sports. It was one of my goals before, you know, I left.
You're not allowed to go anywhere. Don't even say retire.
But that is one of my goals. And I knew it was Dr. Smith's goal on the school board. I mean, get the kids out there and doing something productive, surrounded by role models. I mean, just you can't beat that. So we started volleyball this year. It's a January to February season, and everything is going great. We've had 2 games under our belt.
When you say started volleyball, is that 6th through 8th grade?
Yes.
And is it boys and girls?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of boys come out, but we're hoping that changes next year. We have 3 boys teams, and we have all the middle schools have girls teams.
Oh, excellent.
But at the end of their little regular season, we'll have at the end of the year tournament. I think that's
like a Hampton City tournament.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, and so that's going to be exciting. But yeah, that's going great. So then next year we're going to add basketball. Basketball season will be from April to June.
Oh, okay.
So next year we'll start volleyball January to March, and then basketball will be right afterwards.
And that'll be girls and boys also at the middle school level.
Yes. And then that following year, we're going to add track. So track will be in the fall, volleyball in the winter, and basketball in the spring. And the reason we do it that way is because we want to not be at the same time as the high schools. We want to make sure that, you know, there's limited gym space. And so we have to make sure that we're concentrating on what's going on with the high schools.
Yeah, well, and that's great because if there is a high school coach or an assistant coach that wants to come down and assist, it's not conflicting with their season. Right. So there's more resources as well from the expertise of our coaches.
Exactly.
Or even our players, if a varsity player wanted to come and help out with the middle school team and be that role model and show them a few skills.
And actually, I believe we have a school that has sports management in the division. I would love to see that curriculum built in, like maybe an assistant coach for our volleyball middle schoolers or referees.
You've got big dreams, Beth Mair.
Yes, I do.
I was going to say, your one goal before you said you retire one day, which you're not allowed to retire,
right?
At least yet, was to bring middle school sports. You're getting there, and then you're already shooting for the stars still.
I've got a lot of things planned.
That's great, though. That's just showing how it's forward thinking. So, do you have any estimates of about how many girls or how many boys are playing right now, or what a team? How many consist of a team?
Sure, we have. It'll be around 15 to 20 girls on a team. It's same with the boys. And then we try to get the kids that maybe aren't into volleyball but could want to be a manager. So we grab them and then we get them all excited into it. And so we have about 15 girls to 20, and we have 8 schools. So that's 160 to 180 girls. And then for the boys, we have 3 teams, so maybe 90 or 60.
Making you do math as well. So. Well, so super exciting. Again, back to in-person this year. Last year, we still began with the varsity sports, coming back with the kids. Still have all the JV and varsity sports this year. Now we've added on middle school volleyball. Yes. More to come next year with basketball. Yes. But also, let's just touch on driver's ed real quick. Sure. So Hampton City Schools does offer driver's ed.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what that entails.
We have, of course, we have a range. We're so lucky to have that range over at Phoebus High School. And so our children will, well, our students, they're not children at that age, but anyway.
Young adults.
Yes, young adults. We'll have a session, and some of the kids go on the road with the instructor, and they ride around for about an hour. And then at the same time, we have some students on the range that are working with Lynette Jennings, and she takes them through parking that sometimes you can't really get to when you're on the road. We do parallel parking, perpendicular parking, we do figure eights. Can we open that up to some adults too? No, just kidding. We could probably use it. And so then at the end of the hour, they switch. So it's a 2-hour thing every day. We have around 18 sessions per year.
Okay.
Currently, we are booked all the way through June. So if there's anyone watching that would like to sign their child up for driver's ed in Hampton City Schools, unfortunately, they're going to have to wait. But look on my webpage about mid-May, we will have a schedule out for Behind the Wheel.
So Behind the Wheel will go through the summer then as well?
Yes, ma'am. And actually, we'll have more opportunities because we'll be able to work our teachers all day long. And so we'll be able to take in more children.
Our teachers work all day long right now.
That's true.
But that's a good point. So our driver's education teachers are Hampton City school teachers.
Correct.
Correct?
Yes.
That are certified in driver's education, usually our PE and health teachers.
Yes.
So that's why it's in the evening, not just because students are in school during the day, but then our teachers are then as well doing this on the side.
That's correct.
So in the summer, when they've got their what we call a summer break, but we know they're still working through the summer on lesson planning and professional development, they have time to do it during the day, so we can offer more sessions.
Yes, exactly.
I just wanted to make sure that we cleared that.
I'm glad you did.
I was going to say, our teachers are definitely working all day.
Yes, well, that's the hardest job in the world.
Yeah, it is the hardest job in the world. I can agree with that.
I do.
Well, anything else that you want to finish with as we finish up our interview? I'm just super excited to get you here to talk about our JV and varsity sports, our new middle school sport to be sports, and then the driver's education.
Just that, I want to make sure everyone really realizes that our school board and our superintendent and our DLT really support our athletics and driver's ed. And I think sometimes that's overlooked, but it is so important. I mean, we've put so much together in the last 13 years that I've been here. And it's because the people that are above me have faith and really want children to have an experience. And I think also our Hampton community, there's none better. I mean, our community is the best. And whenever I need something, I have community sponsors that help out giving us money or giving their time. And I just want to say to Hampton, thank you.
Well, that's the best way to end.
Yes.
And thank you for being here today to share all that.
You're welcome.
And thank you for joining us on HCS Connects. And remember, it's easy to stay connected.